it maybe working like this? Very much wondering now. Is it maybe working like this? Yeah, that's better. Had a big driver update today, so everything is like, I have to do it again. Anyway, so I found these two locations in the system. Again, they had been discovered before, but we have this very rare Q06-type anomalies here, and I've been investigating the time skip stuff together with Makeshi Games, and you know, we are kind of exchanging ideas a lot about kind of different things about the background lore of Elite Dangerous, the fact that much of the technology that this game sort of deploys inside the game is kind of surrounded by mystery in a deliberate way. We know that as a game developer, they are very much don't explain and just figure it out yourself kind of studio, which is pretty unique and very cool. You know, we had the whole Thargoid war, and there's pretty much like almost no hand holding, and now that's kind of maybe happening again with the whole Reticoida mystery and, well, several other things around that. And so based on that, we kind of taken a new look at a lot of the other stuff that's been in the game longer. And one of the things that has been in the game, that's, you know, people have seen it, are these anomalies where we get these ice crystals or rock crystals, various crystalline shapes that we find in Lagrange clouds and in asteroid belts, like the one that I'm going to be going into right here. And as you will see, at this particular location, which is very different from an earlier asteroid ring that I found maybe a week ago, where we had this very peaceful place with a lot of color and a bunch of these crystals, and you could basically just fly around there peacefully, and there were these lights around, but they were kind of static and not really doing anything, not reacting to us in any way. They just kind of keep their distance, fly around, weren't doing anything. But in this system I found, I think, two different versions, so kind of two different species, you could almost say, of these lights. And these actually yesterday were kind of, well, they weren't maybe outright attacking me, but they were defending themselves, you could say. So I kind of today going back in here, and after studying the videos from yesterday, trying to find out if we can figure out some more details about these. So here we have the, and so you can see these kind of crystalline structures are unusual to start with, because they're not the crystalline spikes, but they're kind of these, well, they're not really dodecahedrons, but they're, I don't know, maybe like 12 sides. But that's an interesting thing to already start with. But you can see these kind of blue lights here. That's we'll look at the crystals in a second, but these lights are what I'm here to kind of check out today. Let me, by the way, get my scanner ready, yeah? Because we can select these as targets. Oh, these are Q06 types as well. Oh, okay, that's good to know. And as you can see, when I get close, so that was kind of a good example of the reaction. When we get close, they deploy this kind of energy that is very much like, it looks very, like you can see still here a bit of remnant of, that looks very much like what Thargoids use when they're kind of deploying their kind of torpedoes that the scouts are shooting especially. They also leave this kind of red streak. And if I just like slowly come closer here, you'll see that at about 300 meters or so, it depends a bit, it'll do this. Sometimes a little closer, depends. Here, there we go. See, it's this. And it does absolute damage, so in that sense it's also very much like what Thargoids weapons do, right? Thargoids weapons are famous for doing absolute damage and just going straight through the shields. And it's the same here, so this stuff, whatever it is, goes straight through the shields and just does absolute damage. Very interesting. And yesterday, something happened where a friend of mine who was on board used one of the fighters and actually got blown up. And then, strangely, this thing stayed like that. So it just kept making this energetic shape with this red stuff, whatever like energy or thing that it's shooting. And it just kept doing that. And it showed us that the shape of it is kind of a lot like the shape of the crystals sometimes that they make. Not this crystals, but more like the spiky type. Oh, whatever. You can see if you stay long, it's kind of like does some electrical damage and basically 1% of hull damage each time I get too close. So it's kind of interesting. So yesterday it was dark here, so I thought that it might be a different species, but I see now that it's actually the same type that I encountered in the Lagrange field. Kind of this big lightning cloud, a lot like the Titan clouds that a lot of people know what they're like. So we're gonna go there, but this particular area was... Oh, so these are solid mineral spheres, okay? Okay. So the question is if there is anything other than that to be found here. I don't think so. So we'll soon hop on to the Lagrange cloud and see what that's doing. No other crystals around here at all. And let me just park the ship here for a second, put the weapons away, and let me hop in one of the fighters myself. Let's pick this one. And I'm going to see if I can get it to blow up my fighter. I'm sacrificing one of the fighters in the name of research. Because yesterday, when one of these wisps kind of stayed in this kind of red shape, we saw that there was kind of a piece of the fighter sort of stuck in this field. So I'm going to see if I can just keep approaching this. If it destroys me, it's fine. Here, now, there we go. But if some of the debris of my ship actually stays inside the range, which would happen yesterday, that resulted in kind of, maybe you could think of it as a bug. I think actually maybe I totally succeeded in here. Very likely actually I did. So as you can see now, because there's the debris from my ship inside the range, it triggers this defense. And you get these permanent stars basically, and now you can scan them again. Come on, scanner. Oh, yeah, one mode here. So if I scan them now, we get the second trade, but I found it already yesterday, so now it's not a new trade. But it showed that as a new trade. I think somebody else probably also did that before. But glitch or no, you get these kind of three-dimensional shapes, which are very much exactly an energetic analog, you could say, for the normal shape of the crystals that we see. So this is a very interesting and totally reproducible thing. You can see the bits of my ship that are inside of there. And so now I have 3 of these that are locked in place, and they'll just keep doing this because they have some debris in their field. Right, and when you look at the normal crystal, they're very like sharp. They kind of look like a weapon. And so my working theory is that this kind of happens, you know, lore-wise. And then once they have this shape, they start accumulating stuff, just like the fighter bits are actually kind of hanging inside the wisps now. And that is how I think these crystals come to be. So this little formation here, you can think of as like a energetic proto version of these crystals. I got new drivers today, but there's definitely some bugginess going on still. And so that would give us a bit of a clue as to how these crystals are made. And I think it might tie into the wisps that we see when we are cruising which space. But so I have a reproducible phenomena here, so that is very cool that I now have proven that that is something that we can do dependably and repeatedly. So that's one goal achieved. Let's go to the second POI. Where are you? By far the coolest POI in this entire game, maybe apart from Sagittarius A, that I have seen. Because Elite Dangerous has clouds, and they are very, very cool. If you haven't seen that, you're gonna love this. Okay. Here we go. Middle of space POI, so it's a little bit tricky to get it exactly right. Since it's in the middle of space and there's nothing visual to kind of tell us that it's there. Very easy to overshoot all the time. We're still only a few jumps away from Sagittarius A, so that's why we have just a humongous amount of stars around. It's very cool. You can see a lot of the distortion around neutron stars and stuff very well now, because you have this much more starry background than usual. All kind of lensing and gravitational things going on that when you're in the bubble, you just don't see it because there's no stars to kind of betray the behavior. It's very cool. Like this actual nebula I'm in, it has a neutron star at the center. Maybe we'll go there later, and you'll see that actually when you normally approach any neutron star, the space around it is also being gravitationally bent. Come on, POI, I'm trying my best here. Yes. Okay. There we go. Look at that. Sound of it is crazy, like the way it looks, super menacing. Now, this cloud, despite what you might think, is not caustic. I mean, it looks exactly color-wise like a Titan cloud, including the lightning and everything. Now, the thing is, we gotta find the wisps in the clouds. Oh yeah, I think it's the way that this gas is kind of sprinting past the ship also. So the crystals you see there are the more usual ones, or the spiky ones. And that is the shape of this kind of energy thing that I just showed. If I'm gonna sacrifice another fighter to see if I can get this energetic shape activated here again. This is where we did it the first time also, so I think it will probably work. Just gotta get the wisps here. Such a cool environment. But we actually go like in the cloud, it gets super dark. Boy, I can see all the gas kind of flying by. Okay, here we go. And something quite unexpected about these Q06 anomalies, I call them wisps, is that there is some kind of consciousness, whatever they programmed in there, that yesterday I had a bunch of them kind of following me after I interacted with them a bit. I was like orbiting them a bit and just like trying different things. I was flashing my lights at them. Actually, I'll try that with this one. So here, as we get close, watch this. It sounds so crazy with the lighting around here. Okay, so we're close enough, I think. Let me just get the suit out of there. Here we go. Okay, that was a little too close too fast. Activated the defenses. Let's go for this little momentum here. So I was like trying to like flash my lights, and as you can see, we kind of found yesterday that they are also then clearly kind of starting to pulse in like an uneven way. So I have no idea like what to make of that, whether that's significant or not. It's all just fun mystery. But it is kind of cool, and if I actually orbit these guys, you'll see that they kind of counter-orbit me. So you can see like they're actually moving. Here, see that? So they're kind of like react and kind of avoid the ship. But yesterday, after I kind of tried to gain some distance from them, then I had a few of them kind of following me. The cloud itself is also damaging me. It's not really a safe research environment, but it's just so cool to be here. So you can see that there's one there that's kind of orbiting me, that one's orbiting me, there's a third one that's kind of orbiting along. If I move sideways to this group, you'll see that they all kind of react. So there's for sure some, you know, at least game-wise, maybe like some consciousness going on there. They know here that it's kind of avoiding the ship there. Now it's not deploying against the fences. Okay, like usually it's about like 300 meters away. Let me orbit this one like really close. But that's also something I did yesterday. Like if I actually orbit and I go really close, you will see this effect kind of in a lot of detail. Hard orbiting these guys, but yeah, I'm gonna risk it for a little bit. See, it's this like very distinctive shape. The lighting going on. Very cool, right? So let me try to activate one like I did before. Get a bit out of the gap here. So look at that. So cool. We get a little bit of distance, not too far, because I'm working with the range of the fighter, of course. The ship to blow up while I'm in the fighter, but we need to be pretty close to the wisp, so I think this is probably close enough. Okay. Let's use the Federation fighter again. And I'm going to deliberately sacrifice the fighter again, kind of close to several of them, to see if I can blow up kind of right in the middle, and if I can like activate 2 or 3 of them, that'll show the point a little bit better. So I'm not doing anything, I'm not shooting at them, I'm just like slowly floating kind of in between these two at a low speed to give them a chance to kill me. I'll go a little bit closer to one so that I'm sure that hopefully I'm like close enough. Do your thing. I hope that gets close here. Yeah, I still survive. That's not what we want. Come on, come on. This is a bit the problem, like when you go too fast, then I just blow up the fire. Yeah, now I just blow up, but I don't. If it's not right next to him, then it's not going to keep them activated. What an environment to be in, huh? Okay, let's try again. Let's use my trident. I'm gonna go super slow this time. Oh, actually, I think I maybe succeeded. Is there one open? Yes! Ah, great! Look at that. So, there again. I must have gotten at least some pieces of the ship into this one. And now that you can kind of... So this is a great illustration of what I mean. So now we have the crystal, that's kind of the permanent shape, which I think is kind of what they become after a time. And you can see like right next to it, how much this shape, like look at the size of that. I like the pointiness of it, you can kind of perfectly see how this is like a mirror image of each other, but energetically somehow. So I think that all those crystals that we see, they're made of different materials. You know, some are more stone-like, some are more metal-like, they have different names. But I think essentially all of them are these wisp-like things on the inside. See, that's one that actually kind of came for me. So this is kind of showing, like I'm in a whole swarm of them here. I'm not doing anything, I'm not attacking them. So this one is called Flavium, but you got Purpurium, you got different ones. These look more metallic, obviously, but I think that's just a factor of the cloud that they're in. So this metal has a bit the color, right, of this cloud, And so my working theory is that these wisps, once they kind of get energized the way I just did, do I still see where it is? Must be around here, but the cloud is so wild that I can't really make it out right now. It was pretty close, right? I mean, oh yeah, there it is. There it is. Maybe it moved. Sometimes I have the idea that they actually move. But so if you imagine that this just gets enough time to absorb the cloud, you can see that, yeah, that would make sense if this gas like slowly became this shape. So if I get close enough, it will actually damage me again. It will destroy me. So let me do this one more time, sacrifice one more fighter, just very slowly going straight for this one. Seeing if I can get this one to do the same thing. Get a nice up close of the effect. Here we go. Very slowly. Boom. Okay. Fighter successfully sacrificed. And did I open another one? Yeah, I think so. I think I see the shape again. Right, there it is. So this is 100% repeatable, and it could totally be some kind of accidental glitch where if any material is close enough to these, then they just deploy their defenses. So when you get destroyed close enough to them, then, you know, that's what they do, and they just kind of stay that way. But that still doesn't change the fact that these shapes are so closely related, it seems. And if you look at the actual shape of these crystals, like I'm trying to avoid the wisp here, especially the pointiness of it, I mean, it does look like kind of a frozen weapon, right? Like, why would they be so super sharp? But if you think of it kind of starting as this defense thing, what these wisps are doing, then this is just makes total sense. So you have the smaller parts, the bigger parts, it's all fits exactly the shape. Find them again. Oh, there we go. Exactly that energetic shape that these kind of things make. And also the color, of course, like I mentioned earlier, is very close to two things. So the blue that you see, I think is 100% reminiscent of Guardian energy. So I'm thinking that the crystals that you see with Guardians most likely seems to me, like look at when you get close, you kind of see it. That looks, you know, in my mind, like almost surely related maybe to Guardians somehow. With this exact kind of bluish hue. And then the red is very reminiscent of Targoids, and I found these in this kind of cloud that looks caustic. As it's not caustic. There's no caustic at all. Just let me move through it here a little bit towards the deeper part. But it certainly looks a lot like that. And if we move in deeper, you will see that it gets the same kind of reddish, dark stuff that you would get if this was an actual Titan cloud. It's even hard to find the direction for into it. But you can see that these wisps, like I'm moving 200 meters per second. They're not standing still. They're keeping up. They're kind of moving with me a little slower. Actually, probably a bit more of these, of these around in here. Make sure I'm not gonna bump into any of them. Just gonna fly straight to the other, like to the night side. Well, not night side, but like the non-sunny side. There we go. When I first came here, I thought for a second that maybe the cloud could be like a kind of gateway, because this nebula that I'm in is very bluish. But for some reason the gas is counteracting the blue, so if I actually keep moving on enough, once I'm not actually out of the gas yet. Once I exit the gas, then the blue of the stars is actually going to come out. You can see it already a little bit there. For a second I was like, hey, maybe this cloud is some kind of gateway or something into another area of space, but as you can see, that's not so. I'm still absolutely in the same spot. Okay, there it is. So we'll move straight through back to the other side. Let's go straight to the look at that. Why they still haven't deployed this type of stuff on planets is a big riddle to me. This is honestly some of the coolest. I've played like flight sims and stuff, and this is some of the coolest lightning clouds, and the way it moves around the ship also in VR is some of the coolest I have seen of any flight/space simulator. So as far as I'm concerned, but maybe it's very tough on like the CPU, I don't know, but they could like easily deploy this with, for example, gas clouds or other, you know, cloudy environments, and just use this, and you can just enter the atmosphere and actually kind of see this. You know, have this kind of experience flying through the dark or flying through the kind of the opaque gas. You can see the actual star there. If you get to the day side, the sound is fantastic. Can't see anything. Yeah. Massive cloud. There we go. Here we got the field of the wisp again. So look at how it like. Can you imagine if you go onto a moon and you actually have to fly through a bunch of clouds like this to get to the surface? It would be so epic. And the engine can do it. They should like give us way more of this, FDev. Give us clouds. So let's see if I can find the two. Yeah, there they are. Just to kind of prove that this is not a oh wow, look at that. This is not a temporary effect for as long as you stay in instance. Like if I go out, then it will kind of reset the whole thing, right? But as long as I stay in within 90 kilometers or so, these will stay exactly this way. So I've been like, you know, quite a few kilometers away. Now you come back. Situation the same. So potentially if you were with enough players, you could change the whole field of wisps, and you could literally turn all of them this way so that they all just become these kind of energetic shapes. So yeah, I think it's a strong evidence, strong suggestion that there might be something you know, very cool going on with this. And now that we kind of have shown that, let's move a little bit more out. Kind of like it's one of those places where you just want to keep flying around there. Something I also noticed. Oh, by the way, I'm actually not mass locked here, so I can actually jump into cruise. Because there is also the sound aspect. So if I just go into FSS. Oh, I didn't. Okay. To the point. Let's get yeah. Keep on going. Yep. Now, if we go for the kind of the spectral analysis, and we find these POIs. That's one of them, I think, here, wasn't that? Oh. Yeah, so this is one. You hear that? So that sounds very much like it's definitely repeating, but it sounds like very much like some kind of, you know, life or intelligent or some kind of complex stuff for sure. Let's see if I can find the other one. Here, no, it's kind of not nearby anything, but it makes it a little bit hard here. Otherwise, oh yeah, no, this is the other one. Yeah, so I think that's kind of one cycle. Obviously, you know, something's up with that. Make sure, take the whole orbit here. Oh, I already scanned the system, I think. Ah, that's the second one. So that's kind of similar, right? Seems to me, at least. Hey, Angry Coyote. Sorry, I didn't look at the chat, if you're still here. Yeah, so my working theory, let's get into that for a second. So let me show you something else, which is, for me, kind of ties this whole thing together. Basically, how I kind of came on the trail of the wisps is through witch space, because I play only in VR, and in VR you get a little bit of a different sense of some of the you know, smaller elements, let's say, that you kind of see in the game. So if I pick just let me just pick a close by star here, so we can do a little jump. I'll show you. So I think that the wisps, like the Reticoida, that there are a lot of links to witch space, like to the technology and to the place that is witch space. So when we actually hop into witch space, watch what happens. Because we can actually see these various wisps, I think, in witch space. So I think they're actually present there. Here we go. So a black hole forms in front of the ship. You see the star reflect, we boom in, and then you can see the lights around. Those are not stars. I think those are wisps. And to me, in VR, they have the different colors, like the greenish, the reddish, the bluish, etc., that we see with the wisps. And so, in the same way that these lights, as I just demonstrate, are able to kind of conjure physical stuff out of thin air, especially, right? They're just a ball of light. So I think that they are living kind of at a you know, boundary, you may call it, or, you know, something like a boundary layer between kind of the physical and the non-physical. And as a result of that, they are both in the physical world and in witch space, making these crystal locations, these POIs, I think a major clue. And the fact that they have weapons, the fact that they can kind of look at that, it's a pretty auspicious place also, right? To hide this cloud and all this kind of clues. And the other ones that I've seen so far are all kind of interesting locations. We can think of them as just an interesting mystery to see, which could be true, but with everything that FDev has so far done, and just the way that they are as a developer, kind of seeding mysteries and really allowing the players to figure things out, and always kind of stating that they want the players to move the story forward, right? It's what we investigate, it's what we do that moves this universe kind of forward. And so I think that here you see him again, the wisps, kind of contracting and then flying by. To me, this all like it's very likely. I mean, I don't know 100% for sure, of course, but to me, it's very likely that these are 100% related. They are the same thing, and somehow these wisps are able to be in witch space, but under some circumstances, I guess in nebula, around asteroid belts, sometimes around Lagrange clouds. We're going back to this cloud now. For whatever reason, they're coming into the physical universe that we are kind of occupying and exploring in. And it's obvious that their energy source is kind of similar to what the Guardians were using. So likely, now we think that the Guardians were like destroyed by the Thargoids, right? That's like the working theory. But what if they are the Guardians? Or there's some kind of other relationship that we don't know? The Thargoids, we don't quite know still what they want, what they're doing. We know that the Thargoids most likely have their home or their place of origin also in witch space. And the energetic shapes of the crystals, they also look a little bit like a spiral somewhat, you know, like the shape of the Milky Way, the shape of Thargoids. So the Guardians with their energy, with their color, the Thargoids with their shape, and these wisps, for me, I think that there is some kind of central part to the mystery there that is like very likely maybe going to bring us further. And I think that this particular way of actually getting the wisps to kind of blow up, right, to show this kind of energy shape and stay that way, I think is a new thing. Like, I've never seen it anywhere else. I know that earlier people have scanned and have figured out the fact that they can do this weapon thing. But likely, I was yesterday here with Oban and the first to actually make him do this particular behavior. And I think it's a cool clue. Like I just proved, I can do this reliably now, so it's something that's in the game. Whether it's an error because there's some stuff stuck in there, or whether that's deliberate to show us that when there's kind of stuff stuck around them, they will permanently take this shape, kind of creating the obvious possibility that that will lead to them actually becoming crystals exactly like we see. To me, is like a very cool possibility. So that's kind of what I'm trying to prove in different ways, and this little exploration trip very much sort of in that vein. And so now we're hopping back into the cloud just to kind of prove that the instance has reset, right? So I should expect the wisps that I created before to kind of just be closed again now. But we will see. We'll see if we can find him again. Sometimes I find him in, sometimes it takes a little longer to find him inside the cloud here. Don't see him just yet. That's the actual POI. Oh yeah. I don't see any reddish dots yet, but you never know. And I mean, it also would make sense to me that they hide kind of cool stuff in faraway places where, as a player, you have to really earn it to get here, right? This is close to Sagittarius A. It takes, it's like 26,000 light years away from the bubble, so you have to engineer your ship to get here. You have to just know all the systems. There's so much time and effort, investment just to get here, and that's kind of true for all these POIs. So it would make sense that the more advanced part of the story, you know, is kind of inspired here or has kind of a beginning here. Yeah, so as far as this group of wisps, it seems that they've all become blue again. Right? So let me just park the ship here. I'll do one more test, or I'll create once more this kind of energy shape. And then I think this was a good like fine for this session, right? Let's see if I can find two of them again. I think maybe those two are close enough to each other to create two stars in one go. After all, I am sacrificing a ship for it. Come on, Wispies! Okay, let's go for this one. Take it slow. The problem is a bit that sometimes they kind of fly away, so it's nice that you can also really see that they're kind of electric on the inside, just like the Guardian stuff. Boom. Okay. And I mean, you know, the fighters are not, you know, very strong. We all know that. But still, it's a pretty fast killer, and it just goes straight to the shields. Like there's no defense. Which is exactly like what Thargoids do. So the weapon has the same color. It's for my mind, it's like a small, slightly different variation on what Thargoid scouts and interceptor are shooting. It's the same color. It's just that this is like a stripy kind of substance. That there's no Thargoids here anywhere, so I can't really demonstrate it by showing you some Thargoid combat. But I've done tons of Thargoid combat, and to me it looks, you know, exactly the same. Let's see if I can get a little bit close, but not too close. Like in the big ship, it's hard to get close enough because I'm already a little bit damaged, so I have to be careful not to hit anything here or get like 5 or 6 of them after me all at once. As you can see, by the way, all of them are reacting, right? They're all kind of like moving a little bit and flying around me. Even the one that's expressed is moving a little bit, because I'm kind of orbiting, but then I'm doing some like straight sideways movement. You can just clearly see that they are changing their positions relative to me. Yeah, so very cool find, and that was pretty much like I'll fly a bit to the cloud. It's kind of cool to see. If you haven't ever seen this, it's definitely one of the coolest environments, I think, in Elite. Actually, let me, this is kind of cool, let me show it a bit in the external camera. Get a little bit of distance. Let's do a little Elite in the clouds flying. I mean, how cool is it that Elite actually has clouds, right? And if I was trying to give hints to a deeper story, I would for sure, if I had the chance, hide him in an environment like this. I mean, why not? If you get this, then it becomes likely. star somewhere. Ah, there. I can actually see the red one that I created, like, it's kind of brighter, right? You can see it, like it stands out a lot between the rest, which is also interesting, I think, in itself. Like if this was an atmospheric entry into a planet, how kick-ass would that be? And it's in the game, they have these assets. Just make the clouds wide and you're ready to go, right? That's what I would think anyway. So you can clearly see the red through the clouds. Do a close flyby. Oh, actually, by the way, now that I'm in external camera, let me actually break here. Because we can, of course, use the external camera also to take a bit of a quick, very close look at these assets. Hope I can get close enough yet. So look at kind of what this does. It's definitely moving because I have to actually keep up with the camera as well. That's interesting. Why is it moving away from my camera? What secrets are you hiding? So you can see this kind of electric core of it. Let me just... Yeah, see, it's my ship moving, that's why the camera. Stay still, ship. Okay. Since I'm having a joystick, the control's hard to know whether the joystick is actually in like neutral position sometimes. Okay, let's get close again. Let's hope I'm in range. Then we can take a nice, relaxed look at it. You gotta be kidding me, I'm just right out of range. It's kind of a little bit low for that. And I mean, this cloud seems relatively benign so far. Like it's doing a little bit of damage, but it's mostly the wisps that are doing the real, that are really damaging me so far. Show us what you're made of. So you can see that it's kind of, this is what I mean with the Guardian angle, that it has for sure this like electrical, I hope that you can see it, this like electrical core to it. Like it's like a blue bubble with kind of an electrical, very much like Guardian energy. And you can see it, even the inside, it looks kind of like a twisted little thing. And it has a lot, like the shape is a bit like a Thargoid, strangely enough. I mean, I'm as close to it as I can get, so this is literally the maximum close to it. Sprite of some sort on the, you get like all the way in it, but find a bit of dark black, right? And you can clearly see that it's sort of blue until a certain point, and then once the energy kind of exits that its shield or its like active radius, then this blue stuff becomes kind of the red stuff. Cool to see the ship in the background with it. So that's my input right now on the mystery of the Q-types. The Q-type anomalies. Here, nice dark background to show it. Like, look how much this kind of twists in it. Look a little bit Thargoid-esque, right? Like, tell me that doesn't somehow a bit resemble, like, the way it's kind of circling. Has a bit, maybe like a Hydra type feel to it, I would say. Like, if you look at a Hydra from the front, it has this kind of flowery kind of thing, and to me this looks, you know, similar in some way, especially if I like slowly zoom in like this. Like, tell me that shape doesn't remind you somewhat of a Hydra that's seen either from the front or from the straight back, right? Like, even if you look at it like from this distance like this, it's so uncannily, oh, we've got kind of perfect lighting here. Uncannily like it, I would say. So yeah, I'm very curious what other commanders are thinking of this. If you have encountered this anomaly, yeah, of course, if you have your own theories, just to put them in the chat or put them in the comments below. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this little stream. Just wanted to kind of demonstrate these points. As I know, there are like several other people in my group, and Makesh, of course, is diving into the time travel mystery and kind of researching all of the surrounding things also. So I think it's a nice intersection of where all the different misty elements are coming together. And hope this particular, actually, don't want to go, don't want to go away. And so I hope this adds somewhat to ultimately opening up the mystery a little bit more. And personally, I hope that if we maybe do certain steps with this, that maybe it will lead to some new friend type, ally type, or enemy type. Like I said, I was flashing my lights. I get the impression that maybe there's some sort of communication back, but of course, yeah, we have the audio signals that are in this video now also, so maybe people who are especially talented at that or know what to do with that can analyze that and see if they can get some kind of you know, information from that. There's the people that are working on the landscape signal. Maybe there's something interesting to that they can do with their like audio analysis compared to other audio signals from the game. FDev is also kind of famous for hiding stuff in audio signals, I know. I'm just flying backwards from just enjoying the view here. Yeah, just another part of the mystery, I guess. Like, I'm so happy that I found this. This is the first ever cloud. When I first saw it, I was like, wow, could it be an actual Titan? Hidden so far away, but instead it's this. But still, it's a pretty cool discovery. I mean, it's not a discovery, somebody else obviously found it before me, but I found it myself. And yeah, very, very happy with this. And if there are other commanders near, I would say come over here. Maybe do your own tests. Try to see what you guys see. If there's among you who know Morse code, maybe try some Morse code on the aliens with the ship lights. Maybe it leads somewhere. And yeah, I guess this is as good a spot to end the stream for now. Just had a little extra time, wanted to show this. So hope you enjoyed, and please like the stream, and talk to you guys later. We are Florian out. 07 Command.